Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Catherine. Today I have here to show you all the books that I read in May and all the books that I want to read in June. May was kind of a weird reading month for me because I had finals. I'm so happy that I read 5, which is like kind of a big accomplishment for me personally because with finals going around, it was like a lot of time consuming like projects and studying and all that school stuff, which I'm so happy is over. I'm so excited for the summer months because going on trips, reading some books, and I can film videos even though I literally have no idea what to film, but I can still film, so period. Without further ado, I'll just show you all the books that I read in May and all the books that I would like to read in June. So the first book that I have here is The Fine Print by Lauren Asher. I really liked this book. I rated it 4 stars. As you guys probably know from my other videos, I started it 3 or 4 times and I never got past the like 100 page, like 114 page mark. But this time I kind of forced myself to read it and I did like it. I like the setting. I'm sure you know what this is about. Zara works at like a Disneyland type company. So she worked at this little boutique where she like helped kids like transform into a princess. And one night she submits this proposal of like a new idea and she ends up getting promoted to an Imagineer type position. She meets one of the owner's sons. His name is Rowan. He has this task to do because his grandfather died. Am I explaining this at all well? Probably not. I'm sure you know what this is about. He gets this task to change the parks. So when he sees Zara's proposal, he's like, oh my god, I need to promote this girl, and he works closely with her and they work a little too closely, if you know what I mean. I ended up reading it 4 because I feel like the romance was like pretty much just lust based and I don't really like that in my romances, but I liked everything else. Like I love the diversity in this book. I love the setting. I might dock this down to 3.5 now that I'm talking about it more because I did really like this book, but I haven't thought about it since. I'm not gonna lie. The next book I absolutely loved, and it is The Cheat Sheet by Sarah Adams. This is a fake dating book about this girl who's a ballerina and her best friend who she's been in love with forever since high school, and he's been in love with her too. And of course, neither of them wants to ruin their friendship. One night, she's super drunk and she tells a reporter how much she's in love with this guy. And he's an NFL player, so he's like super popular. It gets out. Now they have to fake date. I absolutely love this book. I know that I said that I didn't want anything super cheesy, so I was like kind of not really wanting to read this, but I'm so happy I did. I felt like it was just so wholesome and I cannot wait to read more by Sarah Adams. So yeah, I think a 4 or 4.5. I can't really remember what I gave it on Goodreads. I'm pretty sure it was a 4.5 though. The next book I read so slowly throughout the month of May because I didn't want it to end at all. One of my favorite series of all time, and it is Magnolia Park's A Long Way Home. I loved this book. It was so hard to not want to binge it. Every chapter broke my heart. I ended up rating this a 5 stars. The next book that I have here to show you is oh my god, one of my favorite books of all time. Now, I absolutely loved this book and I need to reread it immediately. It makes me so, I don't even know, like speechless, I guess. And it is Yours Truly by Abby Jimenez. I rated this to 5 stars, obviously. So this book is about Brianna and she meets one of her new coworkers that comes in. His name is Jacob. And they start off on the wrong foot because he has social anxiety, so the way that he reacts to things sometimes comes across like really off, I guess. He ends up writing her a letter telling her, like apologizing to her about how he reacted to one of their run-ins. She's like, oh my gosh, like I reacted so poorly, like I'm such a bitch. And they end up starting this like relationship where they send each other letters and it obviously develops into more. It's so much more than their romance. Like it was just everything to me. I absolutely loved Jacob and being in his point of view was just a little too real for me because it was like everything that I think was like in this book. And the way that Brianna like catered to his needs I literally can't speak. It was just the most wholesome thing ever. And I absolutely loved this book and I would recommend it to everyone. This is a companion novel to Part of Your World by Abby Jimenez, which I read last month. So just keep that in mind. I mean, you don't have to read that one to read this one because they're like interconnected standalones. So I would recommend reading that one first so you can like get all the little like snippets of like the other characters, but regardless, like you just have to read this if you read part of your role. And the last book that I read in May was Flawless by Elsie Silver. I actually really like this book. I ended up rating it 4 stars though. Wasn't like super perfect to me, but I did end up enjoying it. This book is about this guy who rides bulls. His name is Rhett, and he has a bunch of sponsorships with like different companies, and one day a video gets out about him saying that he hates milk. So one of his sponsorships that is like kind of a Dairy Queen adjacent, they end up dropping him because of his statement about him hating milk. So the heroine Summer is a part of this company that manages Rhett and it like is like a PR person. She ends up having to babysit him to like keep him out of trouble. And I really like this book. This is another book where I feel like it was just really less space, but I loved the setting. I loved the characters. I loved all the relationships that these characters had. So I feel like there's a lot more than the romance, but the romance was kind of just like not my favorite thing ever, but I definitely really enjoyed this book. So those are all the books that I read in May, and as you can tell, I really liked pretty much all of them. Like in Yours Truly, I think I cried like 100 pages in because I was just so in love with that book. I feel like it was a very successful reading month regardless of how many books I read. I enjoyed all of them. And now I'm gonna get into the books really quickly that I want to read in June. The first book that I want to read is Secretly Yours by Tessa Bailey. I think it's June 7th that Unfortunately Yours is coming out, so I wanted to read Secretly Yours. Honestly, I have no idea what this is about, but I do enjoy Tessa Bailey's writing, so I'm excited to get into this. The next 2 books that I want to read are Heartless and Powerless, both by Elsie Silver. Since I read Flawless, I really want to continue on with the series, and also Reckless is coming out in June, so I just want to catch up and then read that 4th book in the series. I want to read Love on the Brain by Ali Hazelwood. Her new release, Love Theoretically, is coming out this month as well. The 5th book of the Eden series is coming out this month, so I want to read books 3 and 4, Garnet Flats and Jasper Vale. These are all about a family called the Edens, and they live in a small town. It's basically all the love stories of all the children that are in this family. I heard that these ones aren't as good, but either way, I'm excited for them, and they're like really easy, light reads. The next book that I want to read is The Infinity Between Us by Ennis Perkins. Ennis Perkins actually has a book coming out in June called Our Final Love Song, I believe, and I heard so many good things about this. I know it's a second chance romance, and it's pretty short. It's like less than 300 pages. The last book that I want to read this month is The Summer of Broken Rules by Kayla Walther. Kayla Walther has another book coming out this month, so it's called What Happened After Midnight. I have tried to start this book, but I have not gone into it. This is a YA contemporary romance, I believe, about this girl that goes to Martha's Vineyard and someone in her family passed away. Every year they played this game of assassins. That's pretty much all I know. Oh my god, there's a little heart on that boat. That is so cute. So yeah, those are all the books that I want to read in June and all the books that I read in May. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I love talking about books, and I'm sorry if my descriptions were horrible. Hopefully I'll see you guys soon in another video. Bye guys, have a good rest of your day.